Welcome to How to Sell More. Today, we are digging into how to use YouTube for lead gen with Evan Carmichael, a man who spent the last 14 years building up the wildly successful YouTube channel for entrepreneurs. He's also written 4 books. He's been recognized by Forbes as one of the world's top 40 marketing talents. And what some people know, but most people do not, is he's shared the stage with the likes of David Goggins and Mel Robbins and Dean Graziosi and Brendan Burchard and Peyton Manning and Jenna Kutcher and Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and so many more people. This guy is amazing. Now, I'm Mark Drager. Let's get into it. So Evan Carmichael, best known, of course, as the YouTube master. We were trying to calculate before we started recording, and I was like, 4 million subs? And he's like, nah. And I'm like, 5 million? Nah. 6 million? He's comfortable with saying almost 7 million subs across all your channels.
Whatever.
You don't even care about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... once we crossed 1 million, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then hitting 2 and 3 was... We did a little celebration. I did a live stream like when we were crossing. But it was more for the audience than for me. And I remember after 2, somebody told me, oh, well, you got to be more excited. You got to go celebrate. You got to be more grateful and appreciate these wins and celebrate. So I did something with the audience, and I was super.
You went to McDonald's and got French fries.
But yeah, then no, that was for my book. But I still went out and did. That's a whole other story. But I still went out and did something. I don't remember what it was, and I remember I'm sitting there like, this is stupid. I want to be working. Like, why am I doing this? I don't want to be celebrating this thing. I got work. The work is a celebration.
Well, but people really do turn to you to not only learn how to grow their followings, grow their impact, grow their mission-driven companies through YouTube and through TikTok and social media, but massive players in the industry also turn to you because you spent, over a decade now looking at the YouTube algorithms. See, I said a decade, and you immediately, for our listeners, looked up.
Yeah,
because
I'm trying to go back.
If we go back
over a decade, yeah.
What, 2009?
2009. I'm trying to remember what year is it today. So, yeah, it's been over a decade.
If we have new listeners who don't quite realize the dynamic that's happening right now, okay. Evan and I are in person here in Toronto in your studio. We've known each other for a very long time, and your very first YouTube video that you ever put up onto YouTube, I helped you shoot just a few blocks south of here.
Yeah, well, you didn't help me. You shot it.
I shot it, and I edited it, and it took us 6 weeks to make. If you could believe that. But people turn to you now because there's so much, there's so much attention, there's so much revenue, there's so much that you can do on YouTube, and I think most people don't even know how to scratch the surface. So if I'm a business owner, if I'm in sales, if I'm in marketing, if I'm in business development, and I haven't been using YouTube, first of all, why should I even consider going onto YouTube?
So I think it starts with understanding that people are going to learn. YouTube is the #1 learning platform now. If I'm trying to figure out how to do something, I'm not going to the library. I'm not asking my mom. I'm going to YouTube and how do I blank? And chances are, if you're an entrepreneur, chances are your competition is showing up or people who are less skilled, less knowledgeable, less passionate about the thing than you are showing up, and you're not. And so it's still a wide open space for most industries to get your content on YouTube, because in advance of any sale, you need to educate your clients. And we do this normally as entrepreneurs. Before you sell something, you're answering questions. We're putting stuff on our website. We're educating. So YouTube is an education platform. It's not a sales-first platform, although we can talk about how to generate sales from YouTube. But the idea is we're building a brand and we're educating our clients so that they find us, and we have ideal clients, like a magnet, coming to find us and want to do business with us.
And so if I'm familiar with let's say SEO or content marketing, or if we're running a lot of ad campaigns that are going to landing pages or LinkedIn campaigns, how should we be thinking about YouTube? Is it an SEO play? Is it an ad play? Is it something else?
So there's 3 ways to use it, and we can touch on each, and you can dive in deeper into whichever you want. There's the Biz Dev show, where we're using it just to generate business for our company. We don't care how well the video does. We're not going after views at all. There's the Demonstrate the Process show, which we're using more for conversion than anything else. One is biz dev, one is conversion, and the third is then building our brand, which is what most people think of when you think of YouTube, of making thought leadership kinds of videos. They each serve a different purpose and depends on what your goals are with your business. The brand is usually the biggest way to long-term have success with your company, but it takes a while to build a brand. I mean, you've been at it. Lots of people have been at it. It takes a while to build a brand, and a lot of people fizzle out along the way, and they don't know how to generate immediate revenue, which is where the other 2 shows come in. So if you need to make money this year or right away, like in the next 3 weeks, you can do it through YouTube. It's just not through thought leadership content.
And not through brand building content either.
Right. Well, thought leadership is the brand building content.
Okay. So from your point of view, being that thought leader, being that educator, being that resource that your prospects and clients are going to turn to, that is the brand play, not what most people are probably thinking about, which is like, let's go hire an influencer. Let's go shoot a commercial. Let's hire some young person because, quote unquote, they know social media better than us, and let's just give them some money and go make something. That's not the brand play.
Well, okay, you threw a couple of things in there. Like if you're doing influencer marketing or you're going to run pre-roll YouTube commercials, cool, that's just direct marketing. And so you can do that. You just track, does it lead to conversions for you? And that's definitely a play. That's not where I would be an expert at. Throwing somebody on your team who's just at a university or whatever, that is usually an attempt to build brand, right? We're trying to create our own content somehow to build brand. It's usually not a super effective way to do it. But the direct marketing side is very tangible, is huge. A lot of people are doing it. A lot of big money is coming into YouTube because the ad policies are strict-ish, but less strict than Facebook and Instagram. So people are getting a higher ROI off of YouTube ads than they are on Facebook and Instagram. But that's not in my domain. I just see people now with their ad budgets being shifting a lot towards YouTube. But my side is how to use organic side to generate business. And again, it's either like biz dev where we need to generate sales, demonstrate the process where our problem is conversion, or the thought leadership where we're trying to build long-term brand.
Okay. And let's imagine that if you're listening to this right now, you may not have jumped on YouTube. You may not have a whole team helping you. And so, but you're probably sitting on a lot of internal content. You're sitting on your processes. You're sitting on your thinking, your people. You're sitting on all of the sales tools that you have, all the marketing tools that you have, because you've been generating business to date. Is the best place to start simply taking that stuff you already have and figuring out a way to put it on YouTube? Or is it net new, start something totally fresh, and what do we do?
Depends on what my objective is. So are we trying to generate sales in the next 30 days?
Let's make some money right now.
Okay, then neither of that stuff. Do you want to make money in the next 30 days? Then you start a biz dev show. Okay, give me an example. Like what kind of, let's use a business as an example.
Okay, let's say architectural firm.
Okay, architectural firm. Mm-hmm. How am I'm already in business, I'm selling architectural services. How am I getting leads currently?
It's probably through word of mouth or RFP.
From who?
From property owners, from investors. I'm thinking on the commercial side at this point. I don't know why, but maybe you're residential homeowners.
It doesn't matter.
Let's go commercial.
Okay, so but who? So am I getting it from mortgage brokers? Am I getting it from?
No, it would be like institutional lenders. It would be the large holding companies, maybe the project management firms or the contractors responsible for building, large commercial areas.
Cool. Now, architectural firm, you're probably geolocated. You're probably not taking deals on across the country. So let's say it's a company here in Toronto. We're sitting here in Toronto, Canada right now. Cool. If you already have an existing business and you already know your ideal referral lead sources, this is now shooting fish in a barrel. So you launch a show where you go and you have people who are in Toronto who are all your ideal referral partners. So you're going to call all of the institutional lenders and all of the brokers and all these project managers, all of them, say, I'm starting this new show talking about architecture in Toronto. I'd love to have you as a guest on my podcast. And then you go and you film an episode with them.
You're kind of giving away.
We're not giving away gold on Mark Jager's podcast.
We are, but the irony is this is turning now into like this is essentially, I love connecting with people to talk about how to sell more because I want to make deeper connections within this and I want to learn more. And so this is now turning into Inception, where you were talking about the very strategy that I realized we're doing, only I didn't talk to you about the strategy beforehand.
I call it the Biz Dev Show. But you're bringing on ideal referral sources, or it could be ideal clients for you, but ideally it's referral sources. Because if you're an architectural firm and you knew all of the institutional lenders in the city, and you knew all of the project managers in the city, there's only like 100 people that you need to know, right? If that. But if they all knew you and they loved you, how much is that can 10x your business. So you start a show, a brand new show. Hey, I'm starting a brand new show. Like, you don't have to have some big following. If you're trying to go and get The Rock on your show, then okay, that's going to be a problem. But you're trying to get project managers and institutional lenders, right? People who've never, ever in their life been asked to do an interview at all. right? Their own marketing sucks, probably, right? So you're going to go, you want to interview me? You want to hear my story? This is amazing, right? Do they want to sit and talk to you over coffee about how you might partner together? No, they're being pitched all the time. But will they come on your podcast? Will they come on your show and talk to you about architecture in Toronto? Like, yeah, you want to hear my story? Let's go. And so the point of that show is to build a relationship. Now, if you know how much a lead is to you, you can assign some budget against this. So I told a woman to do this. We just had a session in Columbus in the US, and she did it. She helped CEOs. And after her show, she got a contract for $700,000. So, like, how many people subscribe to her channel? Nobody. It's a brand new show, right? It's like, it's a different model. We're not trying to be an influencer. We're not trying to be a thought leader. We're just trying to get to know somebody, spend time with them. So could you do it over Zoom? Yeah, you could do it over Zoom. You know, easy tech. Everybody knows how to use Zoom now. But if this is a high quality lead for you that might be worth 6 or 7 figures to you, especially if they're referring business ongoing to you, hire a film crew, spend $1,000, go to their office and spend time with them, because the show might only be an hour, but you might spend 3 hours with them because maybe they take you around the office, because maybe they go to lunch with you and they tell you, you build, and that's the whole point, is you want to build a deeper relationship. It's like, well, how do I title it and put it on? That doesn't matter. We don't care how well this video does on YouTube. We're using YouTube as the excuse to build the relationship.
See, I say because to me, the title matters, and to me, the viewers matter, and to me, making sure that the guest is well represented and we build that relationship. All those things matter. But perhaps, at least
but then you're wrong.
And this is
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you told me that what you cared about is getting sales. I asked you what your objective was at the beginning. I need to make sales in the next 30 days.
Yes.
The title of your video doesn't matter. Because it doesn't impact your relationship with them.
And it doesn't embarrass them to go later to YouTube or Google their name and go that this only got 6 views?
It's a brand new show.
Okay.
They have crap marketing.
Yeah.
This is the best they have ever looked and will ever look on anybody's show ever. Right? If you're so worried about it, you could throw an ad budget against it. Throw $100 ads against that video and
it'll
get some views on it.
Views and
whatever, great. Yeah. But that doesn't impact your relationship. Like, they're going to love you because you spent 2 hours with them and you got to know them. And you can cut up the content and give them little clips for their Instagram and their YouTube shorts. You're doing their marketing for them.
So good. So simple.
But anybody can do it. You don't even have to, now, would it be embarrassing if you showed up with your iPhone and you're trying to hold it out here and it's wobbly? Yeah, that's embarrassing. That doesn't represent your brand very, at that point, do a Zoom call or Riverside instead of doing that. But if this person, we're talking established business already, right?
Yeah.
So is it worth $1,000 to go and spend 2 hours with an ideal referral partner for you who might be worth 7 figures to you this year? That's a probably pretty good investment.
Now, what if, I remember working with a client where, and this is more common in, I would say, larger companies, but I love the idea still, where you invite everyone out for a lunch, let's say, and different perspectives, different people. You put together a roundtable conversation and have that filmed. Now you're getting 6, 7, 8 people. And it's not only the pull of just the one-on-one, but then but the more people you bring into the roundtable at a higher caliber, the more of a little network, a mastermind, a group it feels like. Am I just making it too complicated now, or?
All depends on your objective. I think if you told me what do I want to do, I want to sell in the next 30 days. Organizing that's going to take more than 30 days. The bigger names, to get everybody to sit around a table for an hour, is going to be a 6-month project to try to organize. Now, you're the one who put it all together. You're seen as the networking guru or maestro. But if I'm trying to sell you or have you sell me or refer business to me, I want as much one-on-one time as possible with you. Not a group where you're the guy who put it together, but I want to be talking to you.
So there's no excuse. There's no you can't make money on IG. You can't make money on YouTube. Making content, takes you a few years to pay off. There's no real excuse for that, because it's just about making the right type of content.
Well, there's lots of excuses. But it's just an excuse. I don't know what he wants. There's no good reason, but there's lots of excuses.
Okay, no, there's no good reason for you not.
I mean, it would be if you don't have a bit. Okay, so is that relationship worth? If a videographer is going to be $1,000 to come out, right? If that relationship isn't worth $1,000, could you get somebody for $500? Yeah, Maybe it's a one camera setup, but like, yeah, you can have somebody and you have somebody with you, $500 for the day. And so is that relationship not worth $500? Well, maybe not. Like if you're brand new, starting up, you don't know how to generate leads, you have no business, you're struggling, the model still works, but I would probably then go to Zoom because the cost infrastructure is a lot less than if I already had a business. You gave me an example of maybe you didn't say successful, but architectural company, like they bill a lot. Mm-hmm. So $1,000 to go out to meet ideal referral partners and spend a couple hours with them is great.
Do you have to be good at this or not even?
No.
You just got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, so again, if you don't know what to do and you don't know how to sell and you've never closed anybody in your life,
well, then you're probably not running a business.
Well, exactly, right? So it's like, that's why I asked you the scenario. If it's a brand new startup, like high school teachers quitting his day job to try to do this, okay, this is an alteration to the strategy.
Yeah, this podcast is called How to Sell More, not Let's Learn How to Sell.
Great. So then this is fish in a barrel, like I said at the beginning. Like you already know how to build relationships. You've sold something before. Mm-hmm. You're doing the same thing. And all you're doing is edifying them and asking them questions. So if you look at a format, so say you're going to talk for an hour, most of it I want to be about them, their story. And the questions are the easiest questions of all time, right? You don't need, like you, Mark Jager, spend days researching somebody before they come on your show. I know this, right? And you want to ask I'm going to ask the perfect question and they're going to know that I researched them and that I read their bio because on page 48, right, there's that
I'm going to reference that. I'm going to reference that weird callback where I'll be like, well, didn't that happen in 2012? And you'll be like, wow, it did happen in 2012.
You pride yourself on these things. and there's nothing wrong with that. But doing an interview like this is easy, right? Like, why'd you get started? And then you tell a story. What made you want to do that? What problems are you seeing right now in the Toronto architecture or real estate market? You're asking like 5 basic questions to everybody, and then they're going to tell stories, and you're just listening, right? And again, relationship building, the more the other person is talking, the more they think it's a great conversation, right? That was a great conversation, right? Yeah, well, they did all the talking. What I would love to do, though, is make sure, this is what I coach people on, in the middle of your interview, make sure that you ask one question that you can be an expert at. So if you're an architectural firm, in the middle, say, one of the things we're seeing in the architecture market right now is blank. What do you think? Or you say, as an architect, what we see is blank right now. What do you see? And you have a little mini discussion around that, because I want them to know that you're an architect, not just some Larry King person coming with another podcast, right? That you're actually good at what you do as an architect. And a mini conversation around that somewhere in the middle. And then at the end, you go back to them and what they're doing and how you can help promote them and whatever is on their plans right now. Like, it's very basic, easy 8 questions.
I've noticed as a branding agency that helps B2B. I'm just joking. I was going to try hitting you with it, but then it just seemed too obvious.
but that's exactly it. Like, as a branding agency that helps B2B, yada, yada, yada. Here's what we see. What are you seeing? Now I know Mark is a branding agency.
So good. So good. Okay, we are going to do another episode. So we like to keep these tight. We like to keep these short. But final question for you. What is your number 1 tip or strategy to help us sell more?
I feel like I want to give a 40-minute answer now just so that you have to make it long.
Bring it. Let's go for it.
Understand your most important goal and then create the show that helps you accomplish that goal. Like, YouTube can serve you in a lot of different ways. Most people think of it just as a place to be an influencer and build a brand, and it is. If you want long-term success, building a brand and having people beat a path to your door is huge. But that doesn't happen in 30 days. So if your number 1 goal is I need to make sales in 30 days, cool. Start a YouTube show around business development. Let's go close.
Okay. To wrap up this episode, let's get into the 3-point roundup. Number 1, there is a difference between thought leadership and influencer tactics. If you want to be a thought leader in your industry, in your space, which frankly for B2B, and especially if you're looking for lead generation, being a thought leader and a specialist and an expert is very different than being an influencer. So pay attention to the right tactics. Number 2, there is a tremendous value to you, your brand, and your business with genuine audience engagement. And so engaging with the audience authentically, being the real you, the way that God makes you or what have you, is going to be way more impactful than mere metrics like subscriber count or views. The true value lies really in the quality of the connections and the depth of the community that you build. Number 3, direct marketing versus brand building. Two totally different things. Totally different approaches to growing your company. Both are required. And on YouTube, many people think in terms of brand building, but there is a direct marketing approach to this that Evan really broke down. Now, this is just the first of 3 episodes that we do to really deep dive into this. So stay tuned. If you have not seen them drop yet, they will be dropping shortly. So pay attention to those next 2 episodes because we are going to keep getting into YouTube. Now, I want to thank Evan Carmichael for joining us today. You can learn more about him by heading over to his YouTube channel. It's Evan Carmichael, surprise, surprise. You can also check out his books, Built to Serve or Your One Word. Amazing books that I recommend to not just a friend, but I recommend it to pretty much everyone I meet. I'm like, you got to read these books. They're amazing. And if you want to connect with Evan one-on-one, head over to Instagram. His handle is @EvanCarmichael. Now, while you're over there, why not give us a follow as well? Our handle is @SalesLoopBrand. You can check out what we're doing. And one last thing, if you've made it this far into the podcast, you probably should subscribe. And here's why. Every single week, I share tips and strategies just like what Evan shared to be able to build your business and boost growth. With that, I'm Mark Drager. We'll catch you in the next one.